Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. Sorry. So, welcome to this webinar. Myself, Mukunda Tamly. I am currently working as a information security analyst at ISI's Data Securities Private Limited. Okay. So, I hope you people are waiting for this webinar. So let's start with this. And today our topic is pivoting and lateral movement. Okay, you may seen my previous video on cloud security. Okay, so basically I will cover different topics which are relevant to the industry, which are much more advanced topics. Okay, so first of all, let's direct apart from any talking, let's directly jump into the our most emerging topic, that is pivoting and lateral movement. So let me start with some presentation. So let me share you my screen. Okay. Okay. So I hope it is visible. So let's start with the presentation. Okay. So pivoting and persistence. Okay. So what is these terms? Pivoting and persistence. Path leads to enterprise takeover. So you may be heard that there are different terms, okay, that we can hack a system, okay, we can hack different systems, the enterprise is gone down, the server is down. So in this topic, we're gonna cover how using pivoting, persistence, and lateral movement can help us to take over a whole enterprise or whole network, okay, of a company or anything you can say. So first, start with our contents. Okay, I hope it is visible the full screen. Okay, so contents. Now, first we will see what is overview of the pivoting. Okay, like what is pivoting. Okay, what is the difference of this term with hacking. Okay, as I told that this is a part of our cyber kill chain, you can say, or the you can say our the five phases of ethical hacking. It is one of the crucial part, or it comes under one of the fourth phase, that is most exploitations. And then we will talk about the different ways of pivoting. Okay, some of the common ways through which an attacker will do the pivoting. Then we will see the lateral movements. What is the lateral movement? Then the demo. Then what is the defensive measures we can take to help our industry or be secure than pivoting. Okay, so let's start with overview of pivoting. Now, overview. So, pivoting in cybersecurity refers to a technique where attackers move from a compromised system to other system within a network to gain broader access. This lateral movement exploits trust relationships, allowing attackers to escalate privileges and extract more sensitive information while evading detection. So, there is also image. So, let me break down. Pivoting means, suppose if you see that there is an enterprise or a office is going on, or there is an MNC company, basically their networks are divided. Okay, some of their network system, or you can say server, is basically public faced, means a normal user or an end user can interact with them. But there is also an internal network. Okay, there is also an internal network through which all the employees of that company are talking or communicating or exchanging data, or and also the public facing servers is communicating. Okay, means suppose there is an employee who is doing a change in a website and that is reflecting to the end users, but the server is not local, it's a public facing server. So basically what is happening, the server is connected in both way. A end user can access it, also the internal network or internal team of that enterprise also access it, right? So what pivoting helps us? Suppose the public facing server is available on the online, so we can easily access it, right? Suppose we can just go to Google and we can open any browser and we can type www.google.co.in. Right? Clear, everyone? Because it is a public facing server. But suppose, do you know that Google's internal email address? Do you know what the system they are taking in their internal network? Or what are the network the employees are communicating? We don't know, right? So in pivoting, what happens? The attacker basically compromises the public facing server first, okay, which is our normal stage, which is one of our normal stages in pivoting. Means an attacker first gather information about the public facing server, then scans for potential vulnerabilities. If there is a potential vulnerability, then we basically, what we do, we basically take over that system, right? Now, after we got the system, but what I told before, that the system is connected both way, means it is connected to the public and also it is connected to the private network or the internet network. Internal, you can see that there is the internal network. This is the external network, whereas our public facing server is situated. Now, if an attacker directly wants to get the internal network, there is no path. There is no path to take over or gather information about the internal network connected systems. So what we have to do, we have to first take over the public. So the only way, the only thing that is communicating in both way is the public facing server. So what pivoting does? First, we will gather information about our public facing server, then we scan for the potential vulnerabilities, then we exploit it. After exploiting in our ethical hacking, there is fourth stage that comes. That is also known as post exploitation. Okay. First one is information gathering, second one is our scanning information, and third one is the word exploitation, and fourth one is the post exploitation. Now what happens? The attacker attacks the public facing server, it got all the details. Now what remains? Now remains how we can gain access or information about the internal network. This is the, now the process comes about what? Pivoting. Means how we can pivot from a public facing server to an internal network and check all the system for potential vulnerabilities. And what helps us? It allows us to escalate privileges, gather more sensitive information, and avoid the detection. Suppose there is a firewall, okay, so it can detect me, but suppose there is a firewall, so if I go directly like this, it will detect me. So what we can do, I can go using that public facing server, so it will not detect me. Got the idea, right? Now say how we can do the pivoting. See, so the ways of pivoting. So pivoting is basically, as I told, a strategic method. Okay, there are different ways through which we can do. Okay, so pivoting, as I told you, that ethical hacking is consist of different methodologies and stages. Same pivoting is also a strategic method. We can just go and randomly run tools or just randomly throw blind squirrels to get that system access. No, we have to go with strategy. Okay, now some of the methods are, okay, first is port forwarding. Now what is port forwarding? In port forwarding, what we do, we basically first, you can see external firewall, internal firewall, web server. Okay, so basically the external, so basically what's happening in port forwarding, see, the attacker gains access to the web server. Okay, now if I take a pen, okay, now attacker gains access to the web server. Okay, there is a web server. Okay, it gains access to this web server. Now I got the web server access, but you know that there is an internal firewall. So what I have to do, I have to go through this internal firewall. So if I got the access of the web server, I can see the internal communication system, because the web server is the only one who can communicate in both way, attacker side and also the means the external side of the network and also the internal side of the network, right? So what is there, what we do, basically we will enumerate this web server. Using that web server, we will enumerate the internal network, and we can see there is a file server going on. We will forward the port of this server to our local port. Okay, we will forward this port to our local port. And what happens if we do that? See, in this port, the internal port of 80 of our internal system is hosting. So basically what is going on? It will forward it to this, then it will forward it to this, then it will forward it to my attacker system. So basically, if I say in a simple term, what is happening, that the attacker is forwarding, okay, the port in which the services are running, those all are forwarding, and we can access any internal network, any internal service using port forwarding from our own system, which is in a remote area, a remote network. Okay, no one knows about it. This is one way, by using the port forwarding method. Now, proxy pivoting. Now, what happens in proxy pivoting? Basically, in proxy pivoting, what we do, suppose there is a proxy server is going on, and what happened, that there is a SSH. We know, somehow we figured out that this can be the username and the password for SSH, right? So what we can do using the proxy pivoting, we basically take the proxy server to work as we do. We basically use the proxy server to communicate to the internal system, right? That is basically proxy pivoting. Means I am a remote system or attacker machine. There is a proxy server between the internal system and me. First, I will use that proxy server to communicate to the internal systems. Got it? Right? Now comes the SSH tunnels. Now you can ask, what are SSH tunnels? Because you see that tunneling. Okay, if I say the word that is tunnel, what you will assume? You will assume that a tunnelway means a secure channel or a separated path from everywhere. So what we will do, we can also use the SSH tunnels for pivoting, right? How? There is, suppose there is a pen tester, okay? Now I can't go to this because there are firewalls, there are WAF, there are IDS, different techniques are there to stop from getting access. Now what we can do, I can create a SSH tunnel, okay, between the web server and our own attacking system. What we can do using that, we can create a SSH tunnel and then we can access this internal network. You can see I have a IP, I am on an internal network. The SSH tunnel is directly connecting, and I can access this internal network. Means using the SSH and combining with the tunneling method to create a SSH tunnel through which our all the traffic and communication can go and there, right? For example, if you have a road from your home to airport, okay, now the road is very busy. Now suppose someone created a flyover. You can take the example of flyover. What is doing flyover? You can't connect different cities or different stations in the flyover. The flyover is direct from one point to another point. There is no between things. Okay, the tunnel is the same concept. Okay, there is no between thing. Only these two ends can communicate with each other. So this is the ways of pivoting. Now comes another topic, that is lateral movement. So, what is lateral movement? Lateral movement in cybersecurity involves attackers navigating through a network after compromising an initial system. By exploiting trust relationships and vulnerabilities, they access additional systems, escalate privileges, and can gather sensitive data. This technique helps them avoid detection and enhance their control over the network. Okay, so let's break it down. First, there is an attacker. Okay, what is the pointer? See, the attacker first initially compromised this server or the system. Right now, what is the lateral movement? Okay, after gaining, this initial compromised server or the public facing server has access to internal servers, right? So using this system, I can scan this whole other network, these two devices, this device, and these three devices, right? I can scan those. So what's going on? Basically, I'll just remove this. It's a little bit okay. This, and this. Okay, fine. So now see, now I got this initial compromise server. Now what we can do? We can scan the whole network, right? This is the lateral movement. Okay, you can see that there are dotted arrows, okay, or lined arrows. Okay, that is showing us the lateral movement. Means using this system, I'm basically checking that system, checking this system, and also checking this system. Now, using the second system on the internal network, or both combining the pivoting and the lateral movement, I can send exploits to different internal systems. Okay, a different server. See, these three are in black. So let me take it that this is a external network. This external network is connected to another external network, and this another external network is connected to different internal servers. Right. So first I will compromise this through pivot. I will go to this system. Okay. Now what I can do using this system, I can compromise or gain enumeration. I can exploit those internal servers. That is by ransomware deployment. Means in the lateral movement, first I am lateral movementing or doing lateral movement to check the system, their connections and all. After I got a overview or the sensitive data, I can directly spray the ransomware or deploy the ransomware to internal system. So this is the topic, that is pivoting and lateral movement. So this is the whole thing. Now you maybe think that this is a too messy all theory. Okay. So for get a clear view, let's jump to our practical session or let's see the demo. Right. So let's start with the demo. Now, for demo, I am using the VMware and three systems. Okay, one named is Blue, another one is Metasploitable to Linux, and another one is Kali. Okay, first let me power on all these three machines. Just let's wait, so it will boot up. Okay. My system is boot. Now let's see. First, Blue or the Windows is running. Metasploitable is also. Let's wait for this too for just a moment. Okay, so it's up, and this is also up. Let me place the meters portable this side. Okay, now see, I'm just walk through with IPs. Okay, first I'm check here IP. What is my IP? Let me go with the full screen method. I hope you can see. So you can see that my IP is 8.145. I'm on a network. Let me go to the Blue. Okay, this is what the example. Now, if I go with IP config, you can see there are two different networks. One is 59.131. Another one is the same as mine, that is 8.150. Now, if I go to the Metasploitable, I just log in here and show you what is going on. If config, you will see that there is only one, that is 59.132. So what we can assume that Kali and the Windows in a same network. The Metasploitable 2 and Windows is also in the same network, but those are two different. So the Windows box which I have is basically connected to two different networks, right? One is 8, another one is 59. Gotcha. So, so as the method from pivoting, okay. First, what we will do, let's check for our active system. So I will use the our normal method. Let's find out the IP. So I can see from there, but just make it a little that I don't know what does the systems are. I just got access to a network. So maybe the password is wrong. Yeah. Just a second. Yeah. So you can see there is 150 a system. So let's start with the nmap. Nmap 192.168.8.150. I just okay. Now you can see there is 139445 made by SSN Microsoft DS. Both are available. 135 means all the assemblies is going on. Okay, let's just check for service version if it gives us something. Just for a random. Okay, let's see. Is it gonna give us something? Different result? Let's see for a little bit time. Scan is done. See it. 40%. Okay, just wait one more minute. I hope the scan was. Okay, so versions are RPC, NetBIOS. Okay, so it's Microsoft Windows 7, 10, Microsoft DS. Okay, so it's going on. Okay, so can we check for the eternal blue because it's a Windows 7, 139 and 455 both is on. So let's go with the MSF console and check if the eternal blue is there or not. So it's opening and we got a rabbit flag. So it's come. Now let's search eternal blue. Okay. Okay. So there is a scanner. Okay, SMBMS 17010. Let's use this. Use three options. I have to set the R host. Set our host 192.168.8.150. Let's run this. Yeah, we got it. Host is likely vulnerable to MS-70.010. So we got. Now let's use the exploiting, that is our use 0. Okay, so I hope you are understanding what is going on. Basically, first I just show you that three systems are different. Okay, the Windows and the Linux is on the same network, right? The 8 subnet or the 8 network. Okay, but the Windows has a second network adapter, so it is also connected to an internal network, for example, with Metasploitable 2. Got it? Very good. Now what I am doing, first I scan for that IP. Okay, likely I am going as anonymous. I don't know what are the IPs. Okay, so I got the IPs, right? Then I perform what? A nmap scan, and I got that here 139.445. Okay, 135. These are open. So I just scan for the, is it vulnerable to SMB MS-17010 or not, right? So after running a scan, it shows me that host is likely vulnerable to MS-17010. Got it? Now let's exploit. So use 0. We got this eternal blue. Now let's check for options. Hmm. So we have to set the R host. Okay. Set R host 192.168.8.150. Enter. Now let's exploit. It's going on. Let me see where it stops. Okay. So we got. Okay. How we can check sys info. We got this. Windows x64 ENUS workgroup as, let's check that if I got the same. Okay, just check if I got the same device or not. Sys info. Okay, sorry. System. Okay, so it's a brief. See, Windows this, Microsoft Server, Windows 7 Ultimate 6.1.7.6.6.0.1, the same Windows user. Okay, okay. RAM is used this much. Okay, the internal network adapters on. So you can see we got the system access. So till now, I hope you understand what is going on. Okay, first, if I go with the phases of ethical hacking, first I gathered information that there is a Windows system that is going on or running. Now what I do, I just scan for potential vulnerability. First I scan for open ports, then I scan for potential vulnerabilities, right? Then what rest? I got that it is vulnerable to MS-17010. Now what I did, I just simply first scan, then I exploit this with MS-17010. So I got the system access. Correct? No issues till now. Now let's check about this net info. Okay. Hmm. Let's see what is the command for net. Okay. Okay, so it's safe. So IP config. Now you can see the interface 17.8.150 through which we got the connection. Now, if I go a little upper, You can see there is a 59.131 is going on. You can see there is a 59.131. So basically it has two different networks and it connected to both, right? So what we have to do? Okay, now the strategical part or the pivoting part comes in play. Okay, how we can pivot? First, see, in our router or our home system, there is always a path. Okay, there is always a path through which we can connect or we can check the external network, and the path is basically known as the gateway. So the gateway is our route through which we can access. So basically, if this is the network 59.1, there must be a route. Okay, there must be a route. If you check the command, there will also be something called the auto route. Let's check. There is auto route, IP route. See, view and modify routing table. So basically, what's we gonna do? Run auto route with 192.168 dot what 59.0 slash 4. See what happened. Meter scripts are deprecated. Okay, so let's see, is it connected or not? Okay, so auto root, there is a typing error. Okay, okay, post multi manage. Okay, I'm just run auto root p. See, we got this 59.0. We got this. Okay, we got this auto route. So anything will be routed through this. Got it? Very simple. Now, can we do the inmate scan? Let's check it out. Or ARP scan. Okay. So sudo ARP scan, or I can go with the ARP scan from here. Okay, in the metadata there is also a thing called ARP scan. ARP. Okay. So 2145. Okay, so this is the ARP scan. Now ARP scan with IP 192.168.59.0 slash 24. Nothing happened. Let's try with the nmap just for a sake. ARP scan 192.168.59 dot 59 dot slash 4. I have to use the sudo. Okay, so it's dumping. No problem. Let's background this session. Search ARP scan. We got auxiliary scanner discovery ARP sweep or post Windows gather. Okay, use three options. Set session 1, set R host. I'm basically setting the R host 192.168.59.0/24. Run. Okay, sorry. There's no run. It's running 59.1. It got that is VMware. Now see. Now what is going on here? What is going on? If you ask what is the breakdown, so basically my system does not access to the 59. Okay, because I'm on 8 and there's 59, but the Windows is connected to both 8 and 59, right? So whatever I am doing, it is basically going this dot 8 network. Okay, that's why whatever the scanning I am going or I am doing is basically going through that Windows system. First it is going to the Windows, then the Windows is forwarding. Okay, so that is 131, 132. Okay, we got two IPs. Let's wait for scan to complete. Scanning is going on. There is 255, 254. I hope this time. Okay, so the module execution is complete. So I got two, 131 and 132. If I go a little, so the Windows is 131, so it has to be 132. So let's search port scan. Auxiliary scanner port scan TCP. Got this. Right, we got this TCP port scan. Use 5 options. Set R host to 192.168.59.132 and run. Okay, we got it. You can see there are different ports, which is basically our metasploitable to ports. Everything is open here, right? 23, 22, 21, 25, 53, 80, 113, 139. Now there will be uh, 4 no 445 maybe is there. Okay, so there are much more ports. 3278 is there. Those are coming. Okay, so here what you can see that this different ports are there, right? You got the idea. Okay, what is going on now? Let's wait for a little to see the scan will stops or not. Okay, there is 1 to 10,000. Let's wait for a minute. Yeah, the 445 is there. 445, 512, 513, 514. Both are is there. Okay, let's see. Is it will scan till 10,000. Just let's wait a little bit. See if there anything is more coming or not. Okay, then we will move forward. Okay, it's taking, okay, 1099. Okay, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm just stopping this. Okay, because it is taking too long. So see, we got this. Now, what we can do? What we can do? Basically, now see, we got all the ports. Now see, there is a wave that is 80 and that is running. Okay, let's try to connect to that. Okay, so let me get back my session. Okay, so I got my interpreter back. Now in interpreter, if you check, there is an option called port forward. Okay, let me check. There is no. Yeah, port forward. Okay, now how we can check port FWD help or just port FWD. So the port forward. Now see, for pivoting, what I am doing currently. Okay, I did lots of technical things, so just break down. I got that access, right? I background the interpreter session. I did not close it. Why? Because if I close that session, there is no intermediary through which I can access to that system because it is not in my network. Okay, it is on a different, or let's say it is on an internal network, and I am the external. So I have to keep that session alive because that exploited Windows is the only one who is connecting through us, right? Now what I did, I background that session. Now I did a art scan. Means I just scanned or I do a art scan on that whole network of 192.168.59, mean the 59.0 to 255, and it gave me two IPs. 59.131, 59.132. Now I check the both thing, means what is on the 131 and what is on the 132. I see that 131 is that compromised Windows. So what I left with the 132. So I did a port scan on that 132. Okay. And this is the result of that port scan. Okay. The 2322 is open. Now I am back again with the interpreter shell which I backgrounded. Now what I am doing, I am just port forwarding. Okay. Like port FWD add, what it will add, local port to listen on. Okay, local port, let's say I'm giving it with my 1080. Okay, then forward local host to listen on. Let's say my local host will be 127.0.0.1. Okay, then hyphen p remote port to connect. Hyphen p, I am connecting with 80, right? And hyphen r remote host to connect to. Okay, hyphen r, that is 192.168.59.132. Hit enter. So it is created, right? How we can check? Just go to Firefox. Okay. Now type that local host port number 1 with the port that is 1080. See, we got the access of the Metasprite available. There are multiple services. If I click on DVWA, this is internal, but it is going on admin password. I got this, and I can do now anything. If I go to command execution, I can just give here a let's say a reverse shell command, or I can just do anything. Okay, I got the access of the internal system, that is DVWA, to my own system using the pivoting method. Okay, so you got the idea. I hope you got the idea how the pivoting works using the port forwarding. So this is one of the method. I discussed three: port forwarding, proxy, and insist tunneling. Here I just show you the port forwarding method. Got it? I hope you enjoyed the demo. Okay, so this is all about the port forwarding, means using a using a compromise system to pivot to different system on a different network. Okay, I can take any other those. Okay, if you want to, I can just port forward it. Okay, let's say add L10 and let's say 21. Okay, with 127.0.0.1. Okay, with the port of 21 192.168.59.132. It got 1021. Now if I open another MSF, okay, now if I open another MSF console, just giving a little more time. Okay, and if I go for FTP, okay, on the 21, right? Let's see. So if I go for FTP, let's say FTP search FTP scanner. Okay, okay. See FTP version scanner. Okay, so this is basically our 9. Use 9 options, our host and our port. Okay, set our hosts to 127.0.0.1. Set our port to 1021. Let's check options for one more time. Set. Now if I run VSFTPD 2.3.4. Now if I search for exploit, search VSFTPD 2.3.4. Okay, now how I can use it? Use 0. Okay, now options. Okay, set our host 127.0.0.1. Set our port to 1021. Now run. Let's see if it can connect. Okay, maybe it's got okay. So now we can also access the different ports and the services. Okay, it is 1021. Let me wait if it is going on or not. Okay, so you can see that I can do different kind of things. Okay, basically it stopped with the banner thing. Okay, so there is a problem. No issues. We can use this the same way, just background it, use it, and you can just exploit the system because you already have the session, right? So I hope you got the demo of how pivoting works using the port forwarding method, right? Now, before closing up, let's check some preventions. I hope the demo is clear. Now, let's check for some preventions. So now defensive measures. So to counter pivoting, because it is not only that we have to know how to attack, we must know how to defend. Okay, so we can tell our clients, right? So to counter pivoting attacks, what organization can robust security measure? First is segmentation, means segment the network in more and more or small and small individual parts, and every part must be secured with a firewall. So it will block the whole thing, right? We have to create more segmentations, right? Then there is IDS. Now intrusion detection system, what it will do, if after getting the initial access, if there are malicious activities going on, it can detect that and prevent that system. Correct. Now another one is the patch management. Okay. Now what is patch management? Using the patch management, basically we have to keep our softwares up to date. So if the software is not up to date, what we can do or what we have to do, we just have to make the things that or make sure that the system is up to date, because if it is not up to date, you can see that Windows 7 is vulnerable to MS17.0. This is a 2017 exploit. The VSFTPD 2.2.4, maybe it's 2014-15 thing, right? So this is, so we have to ensure that all the system is patched fully. Clear? You got the idea? So these the three main thing we can use for defense, right? And the conclusion. Now, what is in conclusion? In conclusion, what we can say, that pivoting is a critical tactic, okay, in cybersecurity, enabling attackers to expand their reach within a network after initial compromise. Okay, basically what we see, that we have initial access to a system or initial compromise, right? But using the pivoting method, we can expand the whole thing, okay, expand our whole relationship, right? And we can move laterally, we can escalate privileges, we can access sensitive data of different systems, right? So this is all about the pivoting, the methods, right? I hope you got the idea what is pivoting, how we do it, the different ways. Just let's give a recap. So pivoting, that enumerating a whole system or compromising a whole network from an initial compromise. Then ways of pivoting, port forwarding, proxy pivoting, SSH tunneling. I just give you a small demo of port forwarding. There is lots of more thing. And if you want to know more of pivoting like proxy pivoting, SSH tunnels, okay, how you can compromise the whole network from a single compromised device, right? You can contact us further. We have courses that is going on every time. Then we see the lateral movement. What I do, that I scan the whole network, I scan different systems, I scan that particular system for a particular vulnerability. So this is the lateral movement, right? Then we saw the demo of live, then the defensive measures. As I told you, we have to use the segmentations to segment the network in different ways. Then we have the IDS or the intrusion detection system, right? To stop or keep an eye of what is going on in a network. Then we have patch management. Okay, means keep the softwares, the systems up to date, so there is no way that an attacker can exploit already existing vulnerabilities. This is all. So I hope you enjoyed. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the whole thing of pivoting and the lateral movements, right? So this is for this topic. Let's catch you up with new views or new contents. Okay. So this is all. I hope you enjoyed it and you can contact us further or more thing. Okay. So see you in the next thing. Okay. So see you in the next webinar in the next month. Okay. Let's catch up with some more interesting topic. And if you want to learn about this topic, you can reach out to us. We have courses going on and you can learn all the things. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching this.